Previously on Hella Dope Toys.
What the fuck this is all about?
Two friends got drunk at a bar and they were like, hey man, you want to go make toys together?
No flowers, no candies, no text message this morning that says that you love me. This is bullshit.
What's up, guys? My name is Ted Darklaw, and with me, as always, is the Black Knight. We are the co-owners of Hella Dope Toys, helladopetoys.com. And this, friends, this show do beeth helleth adopa. Aaron, how thou art be thou?
I'll do that again.
Too early for you?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. I'm good, though. How you been?
I don't know. Busy. Always busy. Never not busy.
The countdown is officially on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got a week. I am not ready for that.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about for next week. We'll save that for later, though. That's not important. That's not important. Yeah. So no exciting story from you? Normally you have some long spiel about, I had to do this thing, and this sucks, and blah, blah, blah. Did you watch UFC last night?
I did.
Did you stay awake?
Here's the funny thing. So I didn't watch the prelims. I watched the main card. I watched the first two fights. I fell asleep halfway through the third fight. I don't remember the fight after that. And then woke up right at the entrance of the main event.
Did you get to watch the main event?
I did.
See, my story aligns with yours. I watched the prelims, and then I got through the first two rounds. In the first round, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it this time. Then the second one, I was like, oh, I'm getting a little sleepy. Dang. And then the third one hit, and I was out. Woke up at 3 a.m., beer in my lap.
Yep. So I said I watched it. I watched the main event. That's really what I wanted to watch in the first place.
Yeah, that's the only reason to watch.
Let me tell you, I was pseudo disappointed, but man, hell of a fight. Hell of a fight.
Can you spoil it for me? Because I'm not going to go back and watch it.
Oh, it was the fight of two South Africans, but this other South African is fighting out of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And the South African dude, DDP.
Yeah, DDP.
Put him in a rear naked choke. Yeah, fourth round.
I knew he was going to win.
Honestly, dude caught him slipping. Like he went in through a couple of haymakers, and then he stumbled just enough that he's like, ooh, pop, hooked him in, put him in that NyQuil.
Hey, did he tap?
Oh yeah,
yeah, nice.
It was a hell of a fight, man. It was definitely a good one. I don't think they're going to do a part 3.
Yeah, well, the prelims sucked balls. I was like, hey, can I get a finisher in this fight, man? All y'all are just dancing around, not doing nothing. Can you fight or something? I don't remember any of the names because of that. But, sir, that is not important. We actually have a guest tonight.
Yes, maybe he likes UFC.
Maybe he does. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Our guest tonight is a creator, diorama builder, world builder, member of the 501st Legion. And his new product line, The Advantage, a diorama kit that you can set up easily in your home, is now available at his website, scrolling across the bottom here, SciFiDioramaGuy.com. Please welcome to the show, Chris. Chris, how the hell are you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Glad to be here. I'm doing good.
So,
I saw it was interesting. You guys had you guys have something interesting on your show. You always talk about what you're drinking first. So how did that tradition get started?
Oh, man. You know what? Has anybody ever asked us that, Aaron? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think
we started that way back in episode 2, and I don't even remember why. I think it was just something dumb I said. And then we just kept asking it to each other. And then if we don't do it, the people in the chat get real angry and feisty. So, it's a played out bit, but we keep rolling with it anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. Nobody's ever asked us before. How I don't know how that's happened. But I guess
since we brought it up, we might as well figure out what it is.
Well, you gonna kick it off, Aaron?
You know what? We're gonna go out of order today.
Okay.
Mr. SciFiDiorama Guy, Mr. Chris, do you watch UFC? Because you haven't answered that question yet.
Do I watch UFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. I'll take sometimes. Yeah. It's a good answer.
We watch it sometimes too. We don't know what to talk about. I did not see it
last night, though.
It's all right. Like I said,
I didn't either.
The one fight's really all you needed to watch. What are you sipping on this fine evening?
So I have. I usually take my drink of choice is it's a chai. So if you're familiar with Indian tea, so I'm a huge tea drinker. So but Indian tea is like tea with milk, but you can get chai or Tazo or at Starbucks, but I buy it at Target. So it's a lot cheaper and easier to mix. But it's just you mix this this chai drink with your milk, and it's a kind of a cool, kind of a neat, different taste, and I'm not a huge soda drinker, so I tend to drink that. So
I've been trying to give that up myself.
Don't you switch to Saratoga?
I would never drink Saratoga. That disgusting nectar crap. Blech. Just thinking about it makes me throw up. Anyway, Mr. Darklaw.
That's me.
The fans of the channel needs to know, what are you?
Well, Aaron, I'm glad you asked, because in my trusty hella dope mug, I'm sipping on some coffee, because somebody's got to keep this train rolling, right? And then, I have my signature drink, the purified waters of Saratoga. Ooh, listen to the bubbly freshness. It's delicious. I got some regular water. No, I'm an awful human with no taste, so I just like the bitterness of bubbly water for some reason.
Yeah,
so it's
crazy
kind of like
person.
seltzer, I guess.
Yeah.
It's worse than that. Go to a restaurant, right? Tell them to unplug the soda tap from their machine. Let it run through till it's all clear, and then drink that. That's Saratoga.
It's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Good to know.
It's good stuff. But Aaron, I'm sure you'll entertain us with whatever nonsense you have.
I will.
So Aaron, what you sipping on?
Well, today, I and my best husband whiskey glass.
Who gave you that?
The wife for our 1-year anniversary gave me a fine glass that has those stone cubes that you freeze and keep your drink cold but doesn't water it down. I got one of them, and I got me a House of the Game of Thrones goblet. It's pretty dope. But in this here trusty best husband whiskey glass is the fine Canadian choice Crown Royal Apple.
Switching it up. No side piece?
No side piece. This is the only piece today.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all you need, man. That's all you need. All sophisticated in your fancy man glass.
That's right.
Oh, man. You just need a cigar and some blues music, and then maybe we could hang out more.
I have football on. Does that count?
No. No. That's not manly.
Oh, well. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get back to drinking this thing.
Oh, man.
Well, let's say hello to the chat, Aaron, while you're sipping on that.
Yeah, ready? Who we got? We got our good friend, True Star Trust the Screamer.
Trust a Screamer.
Good evening, gents, and dare I say first? Yes, it looks like, sir, you are first this evening.
Now, hold on. I gotta. Trust the Screamer's gonna be so mad at me. So, like 2 hours ago, Rule Keeper popped in, said he was gonna miss the show. But even before that, Maximilian 2 days ago popped in and was mad that we weren't going live yet. So,
Oh, I see that.
but they deleted them. They fell off. So, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I was curious of like 9:27. Like, are we in like a weird time like loop now? Like, have we gone to the future?
Maybe.
And that totally makes more sense. Like, why it says that.
Absolutely.
So sorry, Trust the Screamer, you're not first. You're
next time. You're first in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what he just said. And then we got our good friend Jeff Morris saying hello there.
Hello there.
And then the one and only Stacy Hatch with the generous $5 super chat. Hey, hello dopers. Got my trusty Hello Dope mug. Let's do this.
Yeah, love that picture, by the way. Look at her representing the Hella Dope mug.
That's right.
Love
Be
that.
jealous of Stacy and her mug and her profile pic.
And her new hairdo, apparently, I guess. I don't know.
That's right. It's that new fall look.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on.
Yeah, same.
And Robert's Infinite Realms. Hey, Hello Dope and Dolly time. Let's go. 2 hour chat, bros. I don't know about 2 hours. This Crown Royale says differently.
Aaron's going to sleep.
I was asleep. That was the problem. Mython the Python. Good evening, fine people in the chat. How's it going, Ted? Aaron, SciFiDiorama Guy, 51st Legion represent.
501st Legion represent.
That's what I said. Shut up.
No, you said 51st. It's fine.
Whatever.
It's fine. Don't
drinking.
disrespect their brand, bro.
I've been drinking. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. We'll use that as the pass. Aaron's been drinking, y'all. So anything Aaron screws up, we're blaming it on the Crown Royal apple.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey, that Crown Royal, man. I get you.
And, Mython is a fellow member of the 501st Legion. He'll be joining us next week as we debut the official Mython the Python mug. So,
very cool.
All right, we got Junkyard Crossing builds. Hey, y'all, Road Keeper is driving home from Terrific Comics.
Tell him to drive faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But safe. But
yeah. With some Crown Royal apple.
So good. He says to say hello and to everyone, including the Hello Dope team. Tell him we said.
Yeah, tell him we said hi, but tell him to keep his eyes on the road.
Yeah. Exactly. He should be listening to us while he's driving.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
He's probably listening to legit toy YouTubers,
Yeah. I guess there's that too. Ken Toys, hello dopas. What's going on, Ken? Jeff Morris once again. Cheers, Ted and Black Knight. Oh, he says a countdown to what? Armageddon? Sounds like fun. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Armageddon, I guess.
It's going to feel like it. We'll get into it later. They've already heard it.
They have. And, of course, we've got The Titan. Hail to the Hello Dope duo. Let's save that for a minute. Of course, the missus who provided this best husband whiskey glass, but not the Crown Royal, just the whiskey glass and the little cubes. Says, good evening, Hello Dope, and happy Sunday fun day. And we got our good friend Jason Evangelista. Good evening, Ted. Good evening, Aaron. Hi on the chat. Oh, hi, diddly do to you. And of course, we can't have one diorama guy without another diorama guy.
Radnom. What's up, buddy? Creator of the Hello Dope crate, which you can still pre-order at dopetoys.com.
And of course, we have Mrs. Mython the Python. Surprised he didn't say I'm drinking. I mean, it's coming. Show just started. We're only 14 minutes in. And our good friend Fatrid.
Oh, Fatrid.
And we got Tripping with Toys. Hello, fellas. Hello, Trippins with the Toys. And we got Nolan joining us. Hello, all. Hello, Nolan. And then, of course, you got to save the best for last. And while I'm still awake and coherent enough to do it, our good friend, Northern Nomad, says, "What's up? And can you dig it, sucker?" Good to see you, Nomad.
All right. That's the chat. I did not start anything through that whole time because I was waiting on a separate screen to push a button.
We know. You never
Get caught up with that later. Exactly. Oh boy. So, Chris, SciFiDiorama Guy, you have kind of just come out of nowhere lately with your product, and all our 1/18th scale fans out there are going to be super thrilled to hear about what you are currently offering. But before that, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you, who you be, and what you're working on?
Sure. So I go by SciFiDiorama Guy on the boards. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I've been customizing and creating action figures, ships, dioramas for a few decades here. And I love to create different backdrops, different worlds, different scenes, make the ships kind of a little more weathered than they come across. You know, I'm a big Star Wars, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and anytime that I create or build something, I typically like to my mind always goes to Star Wars, right? There's a buddy of mine years ago that said, if you start looking into G.I. Joe figures, these are all modern 1/18 scale, by the way, the 4-inch figures, the modern G.I. Joes, the modern Star Wars. He says, if you start looking at G.I. Joes, I guarantee you there's so many more variations out there than Star Wars. You can use them to customize Star Wars figures. And boy, he was right. And so I found all different kinds of ships. So I started going to different conventions like Kentuckiana and Joe Fest and these other toy shows that included a lot of other G.I. Joe crowd and people, and just kind of got invested in you know, a lot more of the other figures and the other dioramas and ships that I can use to create some of my Star Wars stuff. And then, you know, I've been looking at, you know, anytime someone sells something online, or anytime you see someone at a toy show and they're selling their action figures, a lot of the time, if they're worth anything, they're going to be in a glass case. Or if they're kind of beaters or average figures, they're going to be in a box for $1 or $2 a piece. And so I was thinking, how cool would it be to put your figures up and display them so that you can put them on a shelf if you want, and you can keep them in place so they don't get bumped over and knock and fall down. And so I came up with the Advantage. And so the Advantage is a diorama display system that is compatible with 40 different action figure lines. And I got a whole bunch of different action figures in the course of several years, and trying to make the foot pegs the same size, right? So I had to measure the different foot peg sizes that would fit for different action figures. So I came up with 3 basic ones that fit 40 different lines. And it's interesting to find that, you know, the original Star Wars action figures, there's less than 100 figures in the entire set. In those 100 figures, there's 20 variations of foot pegs. Wow. In the modern Star Wars figures, there's several hundred figures of those, and there's over 200 variations of foot peg size. The only consistent foot peg hole for any action figure consistently is vintage G.I. Joe. Nothing else touches it. I don't know why. but I guess Hasbro at the time just decided to make the figures, the peg hole sizes complete and universal, which is great. They don't do that anymore because the modern Joe figures have different variations in those size. The classified series the same way. Even the Acid Rain, the Joy Toy, you know, a lot of those figures have different foot peg sizes that vary. But I came up with these different foot peg sizes, and I tested them out before I put them to market, and then I came up with a design that kind of looks like the bottom of a hangar or a sewer or a crate, or kind of like the grate of a hangar. I wanted something generic so that if you wanted to put these in your world building project, you could. And if you wanted to customize these and paint these like you see on screen, you can. When I went to Joe Fest, which is where I met connected with you guys, was there was a collector who, as I was leaving, he was one of the Marauder Task Force guys that was doing the Skeletron diorama. And if you got a chance to see that son of a gun, that was cool. I mean, these guys just put their heart and soul into making this huge diorama. And this guy just came out to my booth, and I sell just the plates themselves, just the boards. So he bought 16 of those just to put in his diorama, and they're 6 by 18 inches, so like the size of a keyboard, and they can connect and hook on all 4 sides. So he made this whole Skeletron thing where he bought a bunch of black ones and painted them with red hazard stripes. Looks so cool. And it's just neat to see someone using your product for a variation I never even would have thought of. And gosh, the Wilhelm Toy and Hobby guys came out, and he bought one of the Advantages, and he bought this thing and he put it on it, which I'd never heard of before. You guys probably have heard of these though. It's a G.I. Joe Jeep, but it was a Palatoy exclusive, and it was like black and yellow. It might have been Super 7, but these guys are all black and yellow, and they're vintage Palatoy G.I. Joes. And he set his whole thing up on there. So cool to see. And that's what the Advantage is for. You know, it's if you want to make something, if you want to put your Star Wars figures, your Marauders up there, your G.I. Joes, your Fortnite, whatever you want. These have generic backgrounds, like the one you're looking at. That could be from Guardians of the Galaxy. It could be from Andor. It could be G.I. Joe. It could be downtown Tokyo for the Ninja Turtles. It could be whatever you want it to be, you know. And so the product itself, you know, they come in 8 different colors. I'm sorry, 8 different sets. So there's 4 different base backdrops. You're looking at the gray there. So we have gray plates, black, tan, and white. And they come with 300 pegs, 2 boards themselves, and you get 4 colored backdrops, which are 2 double-sided backdrops in each set. That's one that I have that I totally painted and customized and weathered up the base with. And the board you see in the backdrop there, that's an extra add-on you can buy. All the boards are reversible. The back of that one has the alien ship background on it. So you can flip them around. I mean, that could be from Justice League or Marvel Universe or Cowboys and Aliens or G.I. Joe, whatever you want it to be.
And just to be clear, because I don't want to confuse anybody in the chat or watching. So you said that you painted that baseboard there, the yellow and the green, which means that these, while they come in just plain colors, as you stated, they're incredibly easy to paint and customize on your own, but they do not come out of box like that, correct?
Correct. Like the one, the show, the slide you had before that, which was the neon streets in the gray. Yeah. So they all come in a solid color like that, either solid black, gray, tan, or white. But yeah, you can leave them like that and they still work. And some people want just a clean backdrop on their shelf, or their display. And you can do that. But for customizers or world builders, if you want to create some unique terrain that you can stand your figures on, if you want them in like a mid-running pose, the pegs will work. Each board comes with 120 peg holes on there, and they're positioned to where they look like bolts in the floor of a metal grate. So they weather up nice. If you want to make them look, used or trampled on, you can certainly do that. But for a fresher, clean look, you can make them look sterile. Kind of like that. I mean, that's sort of like a tribute to, The Empire Strikes Back, where it's the Star Destroyer deck. And you want that the Empires typically, they have everything where it's sterile and clean and it's spit shine everywhere. So it's it's very versatile. And so I'm glad to debut this. It's live on the site now, just happened this year, and I am super excited that you guys are having me on. So this is phenomenal.
Yeah,
The pleasure is all ours, really.
yeah. So this is fairly new to market. So how long ago did you come up with the idea? How long did it take you to execute upon it? And how long has this been available for people?
So it's been out it's been out this year, and we just started releasing it and promoting it this year. And I had kind of a sneak preview last year for it, but it really just kicked off this year. And anyone who, like the Marauders guys or the Dime Novel guys or the Super 7 people, the Reaction people, all those guys who create their own stuff, my hat is off to you. I mean, creating and designing and building a product, I knew it'd be a lot of work. I didn't realize it would be this much work. And I had to get a patent and a copyright for the designs, because I want to protect everything that I make. And I had to get copyright lawyers involved. I had to find someone overseas that I could actually get to create and make and mold these products. And then I had to get artwork that I could use that's universal, right? So I wanted to have something that I could buy and get that I could just use over and over again. So I paid graphic artists to make these designs that you're seeing so that nothing is copyrighted. And from those artists, I paid them for their work and bought a lifetime license for everything that you see here. So that way, if I recreate that in any form, I don't have any copyright infringement on that. I had to get a bunch of different prototypes that would come through. I had to get the color correct. I had to get the pegs correct. Initially, when I shopped a factory in China to get these, my initial intent was to try to make something in the States, but the cost was at least 4 times as high. So to make it overseas was just the only way I could do this to launch this thing, which still is by no means cheap, but it's just at least doable to where something inside the States, unfortunately, is not. But I had the color-coded peg system because I thought it'd be easier just to look at the different peg sizes and say, if you want the green, it's this figure. If you want the gray peg, it's this figure. Initially, the factory said, why don't you go ahead and to cut cost, we'll put a circle, a square, or a diamond on the top of each of the foot peg. Now, the foot pegs are about 1/7 the size of your pinky fingernail. So it's pretty small. So I said, guys, who in the world is going to look for that small, little bitty, print of a triangle that's embedded in the plastic on the top? I said, these guys are 40 plus like I am. These guys want to get their figures out. So I said, there's no way this could actually work without someone trying to strangle me. I said, let's just make the mold a different color, which it was a whole different cost. But I said, if we do that, they can look at the different peg colors and just go right from there and just grab it. And it's an easy way to pick out quickly which one you want to do. And so after getting that together, took over a year. And once I got everyone paid, and once I got things signed, I found out there was a problem in shipping and customs. And I don't know what goes, what goes over or what goes on, I guess, overseas, but I'm sure there's a lot of in customs. I don't know what the process is, but evidently getting something through with a certain image or a certain product is a lot. And the box art that I had was Star Wars-ish kind of looking, right? So they're like, well, we want to make sure that there's nothing that is going to infringe any copyrights. And in mine, eventually, were decided that they didn't. But I don't know. It just took a while. It's kind of it was a process to learn, that's for sure. So I learned a lot while doing it, and I got a chance to speak with. There's a few questions that I had, and I spoke to the guys over at Dime Novel Toys, and they really helped me out. They were very, very generous with their time. Those guys were incredible, and so I got a few pointers from them, and I went ahead and got my product out there and just took the plunge, and here we are.
They look great. I said we got a couple star messages in the chat that we'll pull up in a little bit.
Sure.
We got some questions for you, mainly cost questions, but we'll come up with.
Sure.
We'll address that when we get there. But yeah, do those only for 118, or can you put those with like a 112?
Fantastic question. So these will work. As you can see, there's kind of I have a couple here. So the Masters of the Universe, those guys are what, 5 to 6 inch, so they'll fit those. These Battle Beasts are 2 inches, they'll fit those. Superpowers, G.I. Joe Classified, the 5-inch Playmates, the 4, so they will fit 2-inch to 6-inch figures. Each of these backdrops here are 8 inches, and like I said, they're all double-sided, and like this here is the Aliens backdrop. See if you can get the glare from there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is that. Okay. The lighting is not that good here, guys. But yeah, they're all double-sided backdrops. So yeah, they fit anywhere from 2-inch to 6-inch to 7-inch figures. And basically, it's just something that if you've got a collection that you want to display, if you want to put them just nice and neat, and you want to make them on a shelf, you can do that. But I've got Ninja Turtles up there. I've got reaction figures up there. They will fit, like I said, any 2-inch to 7-inch figure. They'll even fit taller figures, but the backdrops only go up to 8 inches. And they're pretty cool. I'm each time I would go to a show and I would go to a convention, or I would see people putting their, like, you've seen something on eBay before, right? We've all searched, at 1 o'clock in the morning on eBay, right, and tried to find something, and we see a figure or a toy we want, and sometimes that figure is sitting on the kitchen table with the coffee and the kids' diapers and the sunglasses, right? Presentation is everything. So I thought, well, I can give people a pretty cheap and affordable way to kind of move your figures up to the next level if you want to display them, put them in front of a backdrop. You know, the presentation is everything. You're getting the same figure, but they look a lot nicer. They present a lot nicer.
Oh, yeah. And then one question that I had is that a magnetic, like, is it attached magnetically, or is there like a slot that it's locked in?
The backdrop, the back is just a slot. So there's slots on all 4 sides. So you can put 3 together and make an enclosed room. You can have, 6 of them across and just have a complete solid backdrop if you want. But there's slots on all 4 sides that they can connect to.
Okay.
I thought about the magnetic part of it, but the design itself, which it took a while to be able to make. Like, I went through several prototypes where the slot hole was just millimeters in difference. Just like I went through prototypes with the pegs, because I found out when I would get pegs made, I would send over full figures, right, to match the actual foot peg hole.
Mm-hmm.
Then I figured the weight is too much, so I started cutting off legs. So I would just send them like legs of like, here's a G.I. Joe, here's a Star Wars figure. Then I'm thinking, well, I can't send them, I can't send them like a Power of the Force yak face foot, right? Can't do that. So I started looking for the beaters. Well, here's an old Lando. Here's an old Rebel soldier. Here's a G.I. Joe. And the G.I. Joes, thankfully, you can unscrew the hip and just kind of put them up there. Or the modern G.I. Joes, I just buy beaters or whatever else. But that's when I discovered a lot more of the variation in the peg hole sizes. So I had to make them a little universal, since there's so many different variations. But yeah, again, the learning process. But it's taken me quite a journey. But I'm so glad that we made it and that the product is here. I've gotten, not only from you guys and the rest of the action figure community, I've just been overwhelmed with a lot of positivity on this, and I feel grateful that I was able to create something in the action figure community that doesn't exist anywhere else. So that's kind of a cool thing, and this is, no matter what kind of action figure collector you are, you can use this. I mean, it doesn't matter, it doesn't discriminate. Anything you want to display or put up or use, there's 40 different lines of action figures that this is going to go with, and it's absolutely made for anyone who collects these figures.
Yeah, so I'm actually on your website right now. Let me pop up a couple of these questions real quick, Ted, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's building up.
Where'd it go? I want to get to the one. We got one here from Hopkins Yvonne Robertarius. I wish I could see the Predator scene a little more, if that is indeed a Predator scene. I'm not sure.
Oh, the aliens?
I think that's what he's pointing to, yeah.
Yes. It is up there, yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'll pull you up again. Look how sturdy that is, too.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know if you can see the Colonial Marine, but he's right there.
I said, if you pull it back like a little bit, it gets showed. You can see it a lot clearer.
Yeah, that looks better. That looks real good.
Yeah, that looks good.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I got one of the Leonard aliens that go on it. On the website, there is a picture of one of the on the gray version. I put a Predator fighting a Colonial Marine in an asteroid field. So kind of took a creative license there. But with the alien, the backdrop, it's generic enough if you want to have just a hull of a ship. It works on that too. But I found a couple of these, the 4-inch Halo Halo Marines, and they look a lot like the Colonial Marines. There's like a 3-pack of them. But Joy Toy and Acid Rain figures, they're $60 a piece.
Yeah.
So they're a bit tough to display, because sometimes you put figures up there at a show and they grow legs. So you want to put some cheap stuff up there in case you lose it or it gets picked apart. And one thing I did with the base, all I did was just mark it with frog tape and spray it with Krylon Fusion for plastic. So for those of you not familiar with frog tape is a tape that in the 501st Legion we have. Anytime we paint our armor or customize our armor, frog tape is the best tape you can use that will guard your plastic and give you a clean line. And so whenever we have armor parties that we fix our armor and we get together, I'll bring my toy stuff to customize and weather and paint, and I'll just grab a couple of these boards and I'll just spray them with hazard stripes, or I'll make a different display and I'll weather them up.
Went down the wrong side.
I was like, did you mute yourself?
No, that crown burning right now. Chris from Cutthroat Comics wanted to ask, how much do the foot egg boards cost by themselves?
So the boards themselves are $20 a piece. I sell bags of pegs, $10 for 100. And the sets themselves are $60. So for $60, you get 2 boards and you get 4 colored backdrops, which is 2 double-sided backdrops, and 300 pegs. I came up with something. See if I can pull this up. When I was a kid, there was a thing from the toy universe that was the Star Wars line had this 12 action figure stand from the first film. Well, I came up with this thing called the Kenner Classic. The Kenner Classic is kind of like, it's a tribute to the old 12 action figure stand, because lose that thing's like $250. But I came up with the Kenner Classic for $40. And for $40, you get 50 pegs, you get this exclusive backdrop, and you get the Kenner gray color or the Kenner G.I. Joe color of the base itself. And it's just kind of a tribute to the old Kenner Classic from the first film. And this can hold 50 figures instead of 12. So I kind of came up with that for the Star Wars figures. That's a limited edition. That's available on the website. But that was a pretty popular choice at Joe Fest. And I realized more and more at Joe Fest that classified is getting so much more popular. The 6-inch G.I. Joes. Yeah, didn't know that. But there's a lot of other accessories and ships and other parts that they're still making.
Yeah.
Now, I did notice on you're doing like 1/18 like vehicles, like ships. Did I see that right?
Do I customize them? Yeah.
Okay, custom ships, and then you do custom action figures.
Yeah. So I will usually take I'll take a couple of different like typically I'll take like maybe an A-wing that was, if I can find one pretty cheap, I'll take an A-wing and I'll customize it and make it a little different color scheme, and then I'll build them up and I'll make them weathered, and or I'll take figures and I will change the heads out, or I'll paint them different colors, or I'll switch the arms on this one and put the legs on that one. And I've learned so many different techniques. As of late, I started using these paints called Amsterdam inks. Yeah, there's one of my A-wings there. So A-Wings are so cool because they have so many different color schemes. So I just like to weather them up and just make them look as dirty and as gritty as possible. So that's one of my recent ones. I think most of these guys are. I know a couple of the A-Wings that we're looking at have been sold, but I make them and I'll bring them to shows, or I'll make them for customers, and yeah, it's fun to do. I love customizing and always have. It's just something that I really think that ships and figures are such an open canvas, and there's so many different possibilities you can use, and it's great. And going to places like different conventions like the Celebration Star Wars or Joe Fest, it's so cool to see what people can do differently with their stuff, and just to see how different people are with their ideas and what they make.
Now, if somebody sent you one, would you customize it and then send it back for them? Is that a service you offer, or do you only just find them, buy them, make them? Like if I had a boat, like if I had a boat or a ship or something, could I send it to you to have it painted up and done up and then sent back?
Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah, okay. I've done that before. Typically, it's easier if I can find them locally. I live in the St. Louis area, and I'm pretty privileged to be a part of a group called the Kit Bash Club. So the Kit Bash Club is a group. They're on Instagram with me, and it's a group of other customizers like me that get together once a month, and we'll trade parts. We'll trade tricks of the trade. We'll talk about different painting techniques we can use. And we got guys that only do 6-inch figures. We got guys that only do figures. We've got certain guys that don't do figures at all, that only do ships. Some just do dioramas. And so we kind of, do tricks of the trade and look out for each other for other parts or accessories that we come across. And I'm pretty spoiled in that matter that I'm able to find a lot of what I need. But if somebody has a ship that they're looking at that they want to customize or send to me, absolutely. I did a limited run of the Legacy or the Vintage Collection Millennium Falcon. That's on my website, and there's a bunch of shots on my Instagram page where I took the Legacy Millennium Falcon and weathered it up, like inside and out, to make it look like it did from the movie. And so I made 6 of those, and I sold 5, and kept the 6th one for myself.
I'd love to see like Luke's X-wing when it was in Dagobah, and
yeah,
like that swamp,
like stuck in the swamp. Yeah,
I want to see. I would love to have a version where it's got like all the weeds, and it's just like it has all that look.
The gunk on it. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Isn't that great that we love? I mean, it's futuristic movies used to be, before Star Wars came along, it was bright and shiny and silver and copper, and but when Star Wars came along, everything was used and worn and gritty and weathered, and it's just completely changed the landscape of not just films, but everything that we do. And it's just, I like you, I like that look differently. If it's gritty and used and worn, all the better.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold on, we got some more stuff in here. If you want,
there's a lot in here. Do you want to just power through it all real quick?
Sure.
Because man, they are wild tonight.
Yeah, all right, I like wild.
Let's jump out the top. Robert Infinite Realms. That mug was for her birthday. What's Stacy's birthday?
That was a smart move, Robert. See, now you're the world's best husband.
Exactly. You should get a whiskey glass.
Yeah, you should get a glass full of Crown Apple.
So good. So good. 13th Prince. Good evening, man. Good to see you. Ken's Toys. 1/18th is the Lord's scale. Just in case you didn't know, the Lord himself.
1/18th. What was that?
1/18th is the Lord's scale. It's the best scale, apparently.
Yeah.
What they're saying.
I would agree. I mean, the 118 people, I am 100% with. Yeah, not that I dislike the 112 people, but 118, I think it's just so much more versatile.
One day I'll jump down that rabbit hole. I mean,
Yeah.
I got like the WWE superstars ones. That's about as close to that scale as I'm getting right now. But those
Yeah.
Delta, some of those Delta 17s are kind of cool. So.
I meant to bring you some, Aaron, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to dive into this or not, so I didn't. Next time.
Yes, next time. We got a good friend at Punk with Toys joining us. Make sure you guys check him out tomorrow night for whatever random ramble he does and whatever topic he does in the last 30 minutes of his show.
Yeah.
So go check
if you're awake.
If you're awake. Or had too much Crown Apple and you pass out. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Like watching Lawrence is trying to watch UFC, man. You really want to get there, but then you fall asleep.
Yeah. Because you had too much Crown Apple. We got Allison Troy, the retro toy princess, saying hello. How's it going? Good to see you. We got Hopkins Von Rabbitarius, kind of minimalist, but looks like so much going on in one scene. Yeah. I love the look of all those. And I'm gonna pull up your site again. Actually, I'm gonna let you just answer the question. I can pull up the site sheet, but like I said, fairly priced. Not super crazy. Like you got a good deal on a lot of what you can do with these. Largo's Lair, SciFiDiorama Guy does great work. Very cool product. Thank you, Largo.
And you were on with Largo and Wilhelm a few weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Maybe a month.
Those guys were so much fun. Yeah, those guys were awesome. Yeah, they were
good
cool.
fellas. Love them to death. And
absolutely are.
You were a perfect guest for them because like that's the only scale they really focus on as well. Well, Largo dabbles in everything, but man, Wilhelm does wild things with that 1/18th scale. So you were in good company.
And we talked for like an hour after the show ended because they had, some of their collections and what they make and what they build. It's incredible. They're into almost everything, and you can incorporate, like I said, with the 1/18 scale. It's great. And if you want, towards the end of this, I will walk you around my workshop and just show you the stuff I've got. But it was so cool. They showed me a lot of their stuff, and we got a chance to kind of delve into each other's backdrop. But those guys are creative, and those guys are into their toys too. Which my toys are my sanctuary. I'm not afraid to say that. It's crazy. They're I'm over 50 years old, and here we are, right? You're talking about toys.
Oh, yeah. Hopkins Van the Rabbitarius says, if I could paint it, would be kind of fun to match the pegboards, the backgrounds. Now, this kind of goes back to the question that Ted had asked about, like, if someone were to give you a vehicle. If someone were to purchase one of your diorama sets, it's like, let's just say myself, I can't paint for shit. And I said, hey, could you do a simple paint job with that? How much extra would you do that for?
So you're talking about what, like wanting to paint the boards themselves?
Yeah. Let's say we'll take the aliens one that you've got sitting there. If I said, hey, I just want the pegboard to match color scheme wise the background.
I totally get that. Yeah. So if you wanted just the alien one, it's ironic because I got asked that at Joe-Fest and at the last Star Wars con I was at. So what's the guy's name that showed up at Joe? Seth Green.
Okay.
So Seth Green came to my booth and he got the advantage, but he got a regular one. But he's like, he's flying. I guess he was flying out. So he said, I really can't carry anything custom with me, but the advantage is in a box, so it's easy. But I sell the boards, the boards that are painted for $30. Anything you want. You want it weathered, you want it hazard stripes, you want it to be green and gray, or you want it to be black and yellow like the movie, or you want it to be just like Tatooine, where it's just like I think there's one of the boards I have in there with the tan backdrop, where it's just the base itself, and it's just completely weathered up. It just looks dirty. So I do that too. That's on one of the shots with all the boards that you guys had. So yeah, any of those are just $30 for any paint scheme you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, like the center one there. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, just to make it look to where all the ridges and the lines pop, and it just looks dirty.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that, or like, I mean, I don't know, like for like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like maybe. Well, you kind of already answered. Like I said, if I wanted like a purple and yellow to match the scene that's behind it, you know.
Absolutely.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome. We got the Briscoe. How you going, man? Good to see you. And then of course, my name twin, Paints Toy Samples. How's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. Getting those gains in the gym. I see you working out there, man. And then we got Figmonger. Late, but I finally caught a lot. Hey, it only took you 83 episodes, but you know what? This is the best one. So you're good. Glad to have you, man. Chris from Cutthroat Comics. Will you be coming out with any military backdrops like a jungle scene?
Great question. So I have for military backdrops, what I have are the tan backdrop, which has the streets of like Cairo, Mogadishu, Tatooine, or the like the abandoned streets of. I have the dystopian one that looks like it's just a broken down city. I just released these, so you mean having different backdrops? Certainly, that's an option that I can have out there. I've not thought about the jungle backdrop yet, but that is one that I could absolutely come up with, because the backdrops, you know, the more these get out. I just got in a whole shipment of these, and so just got a whole bunch of the advantages in from overseas. So I've got those all set to go out. But yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of different possibilities that are endless. I've even had guys tell me that they've bought backdrops. I'm sorry, that they bought the Advantage, and they just went somewhere and just made their own. They made their own backdrops with everything that they have. They just either they found a place to print them off or whatever else. But the backdrops are something that are absolutely universal, so they can go with anything. And a backdrop with a forest on it is actually a great idea, because that could be used for, you name it, Predator, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, military, anything, right?
Anything, yeah. Another question from Greg Finstead. Your floors, is it possible to peg in an action or flight stand for people to use?
An action or fight stand?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Little stands that plug in.
Yeah. Like, let's see here. Like these. All right. Let's look. Here. All right. The alien who has no foot pegs. All right. As you can see, I don't know if you can see or not.
Yeah, that looks good.
So the G.I. Joes, and there's even on the website, I have a picture of the vintage G.I. Joes with a white background. And it's some of the images that I sent you through Instagram where the GI Joes are like mid action pose and they're like kicking and punching each other, and they're basically just sitting there, mid pose with their legs and arms and everything up. So you can see where the GI Joe and the sand people are kind of like standing, and they're balanced with just their legs kicking out. You can absolutely do that, and that's the beauty of it too. If you want to put like an action stance where they're in the middle of a fight, and you've got one person on their leg kind of like kicking out, you can do that. You can set it up like that if you want.
So they were asking adding a flight stand. So maybe you have a Superman figure and you want him to be flying across the backdrop. Could you plug in a stand for that to mimic that?
I think you said fight stance, not flight.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
good.
sorry. A flight stance. You mean like having a figure kind of like fly?
Yeah. Do I have? I don't even think I have one near me.
I've seen stands that have like that are clear stands that they have that.
Clear stand with a clip on it.
Yeah, exactly. You can certainly stand it on the base. I've not developed anything that holds a figure up in a flying position. I've not made, but the base will certainly support one of the stands like you're talking about that will hold figures up in a flight stance. Does that answer your question? I'm not sure if it does or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. They were just curious if like they could port one in.
And yeah, it'll fit on there. Yeah, it'll stand on there evenly. Absolutely, it will.
Awesome.
All right. Our good friend Fatrid wants to know: are these injection molded or 3D printed? The stands and pegs.
100% injection mold. 3D printing. I know a lot of people out there are really into 3D printing, and I don't knock that at all. But 3D printing products are extremely brittle, very brittle. No matter how good you do them, I've got a lot of custom pieces that I make for my dioramas and stuff. If they fall, they're going to crack into 100 pieces. They're just brittle, and unfortunately, that's just what you get with those resin molds. But these are injection molded. These are super sturdy. These things are very, very durable. And I thought that injection molding was probably the only way to go, because that's the only way that I could get something that would be universal and consistent every single time. With injection molded, sometimes you get things that are maybe, part of it didn't quite get there, or there's an air bubble here, or it slightly needs to be shaved off on this end. A lot of that could create a possible inconsistency. So I just decided to use injection molding all the way. It was certainly a more expensive route, but it was one that was more consistent, more durable, and it would stand the test of
time. Python to Python, those custom painted and weathered A-wings look phenomenal.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I said that's why I wanted to pull it up, because while y'all were talking, I was looking at your custom page. I'm like, man, these are sweet. I'd love to get my. Like I said, I'm gonna find me. I'm gonna find me an A-wing or his X-wing. I'm gonna have you do it.
Yeah. Well, I have two more. I have the last. I've got two left to do. I have three more A-wings left that I'm going to customize and paint. And I think after that, I'm going to retire on the A-wings. They're fun to do, but man, they are a lot of time and effort. And so now that I'm kind of going forward with this venture, I don't have as much time to do a lot of my custom stuff. But I've got three more that I'm going to kick out, and I have, I'll certainly put that up on my website or my Instagram.
Jeff Morris says 118 is for world building, 112 is for the dollies.
It's for the what?
For the dollies. Oh, action. No, the 112 action figures are called dollies.
Yeah.
So you did not know that. Now you know.
Now we know.
Greg also says that he spotted a Stargate homage in one of your backdrops. Cool reference. It would be cool to have a hallway or bridges from loved properties recreated like BSG, Stargate, etc. if possible. Battlestar Galactica, just in case you didn't think I knew that.
Aaron knew.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what the beauty of what I tried to do is try to make each backdrop to where it's a little it's generic enough that it can go with just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certainly backdrops that I have here that kind of lend themselves to one genre more than the other. But I think the most definitive one I have is on the white backdrop. The white backdrop comes with a snow scene, and the other scene is from Hoth. I'm sorry, from Bespin. And so the stormtroopers tend to really, look kind of with the Bespin backdrop.
I was going to ask this dumb question because this is a dumb question. Are all of those figures in the front, or is it just one figure and then it's a painted in background of all the other
These?
stormtroopers? Yeah.
No, these are all on the Advantage.
No, that looks so clean that it looked like that back row looked like it was like printed onto that backdrop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And they're all standing up there straight. They're all on the pegs.
That is fantastic.
That is, see, that's a true seller right there. You flip it upside down and they're all still on there. That's how you move some product.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. In my experience, there's no such thing as too many stormtroopers.
Oh, no, not at all. Stormtroopers, Foot Clan, it all works the same. Figmonger says that he's really digging those dioramas. And then I think you answered this question once, but we'll pop it up again. How many holes are on each board?
120.
Random Diorama says, just realized SciFiDiorama Guy is sitting in the cleanest room I've ever seen in all of ToyTube.
Well, I'm on the clean side of it. Wait till I will walk you around. Yeah, my workshop is 1 foot away. So I will walk you around to my table. My table is an absolute mess. I've got 105 projects on there. I've got every paint and ink of every kind. So, yeah. But thank you.
Ken says, don't badmouth the 3D printing people. They'll come after you.
No, and I'm not bad mouthing anyone that does 3D printing. I buy a lot of 3D printing stuff. I use it for my dioramas. I just thought for something that was a consistent line of these bases, injection molding was just the way I chose to go. But I love the 3D printing guys. There's guys like that in my groups here. So I use that stuff all the time.
Yeah. I got 2 more, Ted, and then we get back into
Okay.
it.
Sure.
Rollkeeper does say, hello, dopers. Rollkeeper, good to see you, man. And then Figmonger with a generous $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Just showing a little love for some hella dope guys and company and keeping it real, my dudes. One love.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate that.
For sure.
All right. Cool. So, before we get over to your workspace, I guess, how long are you doing these runs for? Is this a consistent product that you're always going to have? Is it a limited thing, and when they're gone, they're gone? And then on the tail end of that, are there plans for other products that go with this in the future? Like, are you going to expand at all?
Yeah, so great question. I am a I'm a world builder, and so we had, I'm looking to. I've created and sold and bought toys for 20 years, and so used to do shows all the time. So now I transitioned to doing, a creating of a product, and that's when I came up with the Advantage. So this is something which is going to be a limited run. Yeah, so I'm not going to make these forever. Great question, but yeah, once I totally believe in keeping something that is that's out there for the discerning collector. Everyone wants something that is going to be that not everyone has, right? Everyone wants an advantage of no pun intended, but has something unique that no one else has, or something else that someone else doesn't have that's different. And so, as a Star Wars collector, I found out the hard way that saturating the market is not a good thing. And Lucas with Star Wars figures has absolutely saturated the market. And so too much of a good thing can kind of be a bad thing. So I'm not going to make these forever. Number one, because it's too expensive. But number two, it's something that I'm going to make for a while. And yeah, we'll see what else is out there in the future. I want to devote some time to my world building and to do some more creating. I'm just now beginning to start and do figures for myself, versus just buying or creating a figure or ship and selling it. So I'm not sure what else is out there, but I just got these. These are pretty new, and so I'm pretty excited about that. I've had a lot of positive feedback, so who knows? But I do know for a fact that these are things that are not going to be, made forever. So I don't believe in doing that.
Awesome. Well, I wanna see that workspace of yours, and I guess while we're traveling over there, I'm kind of curious. I'm sure the other people are as well that are watching, but why is world building important to you? Like, where did that come from? And why is that something that you want to keep going?
So world building to me is it's something that opens up and creates a lot of imagination, right? So I mean, I'm a big believer in that. Imagination is your greatest tool, and I've been blown away by community, the action figure in the world building community, with people like you who have done their research enough to create and host a podcast of nothing but toys and collectors and fans and community. You guys are what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Going on Instagram and talking to different people. When Wilhelm, the guys that had me on last month, those guys are so into their toys. And to me, my action figures are my sanctuary. I love to go there. I love to create. I can take a figure from a Fortnite or a G.I. Joe or a Star Wars or a Marauder and make something that no one else has and create a new alien. World building to me is just a canvas of imagination. And I want to create different things where I can put all the figures that I've kept and all the figures that I'm going to create and build on. I also think it's a way to spark imagination in other people. I'm sure you guys have had influences from people in your lives that have led you to do what you do and to have the creativity and the outlets that you guys have. I mean, you are, I'm sure, inspired by someone to either go out on your own and create something, or to do something that no one else is bringing to the community. And so I think that the world building community has absolutely open my eyes to other people who are just as enthusiastic as I am, and that give me inspiration, and that just we encourage one another. And so I've done shows for decades, for almost 30 years. And I'm sure you guys have come across this before. We've all come across the people, what is the classic guy from The Simpsons, the comic book guy, right? The guy who's just kind of, he's kind of like the all-knowing jerk, right? Those guys are real. I mean, we've met those guys at conventions. Those guys exist. Those guys are still out there, right? And so there's seeing a lot of that negative people like that. It's inspired. It's inspiring to me to see people with the complete opposite form of I guess the complete opposite mindset. And where on world building, it seems like people are just so ready and so willing and so enthusiastic about sharing what they've created and showing you what they've created and liking what you've done and complimenting what you've done and asking, how did you make this? What did you use? Did you use paint for this? Is this the figure's head? What are the legs from? And so I'm inspired by the positivity of the world building community. And that's something that's really, really kept me going. And it's been great. And people like you, people like the other podcasts I've been on before, those collectors and those enthusiasts are phenomenal. I mean, just the diversity and the inclusion that we all need is absolutely there. And that's one thing that, ironically, Star Wars is all about. You go into the cantina, right? The very first film, diversity is in front of your face. I mean, you get people with one eye, three eyes, no eyes. I mean, it's insane. And I'm so grateful and so inspired and so just enthusiastic about the people that I have been able to inspire, and grateful for those who've inspired me, and looking forward to those people who I've not even met yet, that I'm going to see all the cool things that they're going to do, that I'm going to ask them 10 questions about how they built it, what do they paint, how do they use this. And so I was able to see that too at Joe Fest with a lot of the custom dealers. So I know that's like a 10-minute answer to a 5-second question, but
that's perfect.
Yeah, as you can tell, it's just there's so much positivity in this. And there is when I was a kid, I'll never forget, I was bullied when I was going to, I saved up my money, and I was walking to Target, and I saved my money for a Star Wars figure. And this kid bullied me for doing that and made fun of me for that. And at the time, I was so defeated by that. But then I thought, never again. I mean, I never again will I ever feel embarrassed about that. Granted, I was 10 years old, but there is nothing negative that comes from collecting, creating, building, customizing, and sharing the love of toys. There is no negative aspect to that, none whatsoever. How many things can you think of that can have that same connotation? The podcast that you're doing, nothing negative about it. It's all about building a brand, building community. People who are on Instagram showing their projects and showing what they're doing, nothing negative about that. It's positivity. It's just like, I'm a huge dog person. I love dogs. And if dogs could speak, all they would want to say is two things: I love you and I'm sorry. Right? And with the community of world builders, I think we're like a lot of these dogs, in that these dogs that just want to love everything and everybody, and they want to share it. When that dog brings you that toy to you, and he wants to just play with it. When these guys on Instagram post something and they just found out this new painting technique and you want to display it, you found out from this other guy who told you how to paint this other figure or change these two legs and do this, and you just found out, and now you want to show it and display it. That's phenomenal. This is what it's all about. And just sharing this love and encouraging one another and doing these things to build each other up and show each other the next level we can create and the next level we can bring our art or our level to level up our game in whatever format we do. In my case, that's customizing or world building. And you guys, that's reaching out to collectors and fans through podcasts like this. It's all about positivity. There's nothing negative about it. Nothing whatsoever. And that's what I love.
Man, you got the chat fired up. They're vibing with what you're saying. I might have to clip some of that and post it for show replays this week, man. Because yeah, no, that you were spitting fire there. Absolutely love it. Very passionate. Well,
Absolutely.
we got a few minutes, so let's check out that workspace of yours. And now Radnom can calm down. He can see the messy side.
Yeah. All right, let me change my. All right, help me out here. With my settings, I can change my camera, can't I?
Should be able to.
Yes.
Are you on a phone or are you on a webcam?
I'm on a phone.
Yeah,
Camera facing, got it right here. Guys, and here's a little, So, fun fact about SciFiDiorama Guy, he is not computer savvy. But his wife is. All right, let's see. Facing back.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on full screen.
All right, sounds good. All right. So right here, you ever see those LOL crates?
Yeah.
They're like I found a bunch of LOL crates and I customized them. I made some different floors. I weathered them. I'm going to make a whole kind of like a Ready Player One sort of thing here. I've got all of my guns, my arms, my legs.
Oh, see, that's organized. You got a box that says arms. That's smart. I would just have a bag.
Yeah. So
Marvel
I've got
Legend
all
figure.
those in it. All right, here is the mess. So this is where I have all of my parts and my heads that I'm working on. There's my droid legs. There's a bunch of inks that I have here.
Just it looks like a war zone there. Just body parts everywhere.
I know, body parts. These are what I got. I got some of these at Joe Fest. So I have a bunch of the backpacks that I painted up. Some of my Star Wars figures. This is, for all you G.I. Joe collectors, I don't know the name of this vehicle, but this is some kind of G.I. Joe vehicle I decided to make into a hovercraft.
Oh, awesome.
So I painted that up, weathered that up. Not quite done with it, but I'm getting there. Here is all right. Here are troopers.
Got everything labeled.
Oh, I've got to.
Wow.
Yeah. Got about 60 in there. I've got my what else do I have here? I've got my this. I found this at I don't know what this is called, but this is some kind of GI Joe, not GI Joe, some kind of set from Goodwill that I got.
It looks cool. So you've obviously painted that, but man, that looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was that color.
Wow. And that's just a standard plastic shell that probably came from some kid's playset.
Some kid's playset somewhere. Here is part of one that I've colored and primed, but not painted yet. But it's the same kind of thing. This piece goes next to it. But yeah, one I've not done yet, but something I can just put up and just put some figures in front of for some cool shots. What else? World building. I've got all my beasts.
You even have a world building bin. That's incredible.
Yes. Helmets. All right. Got those.
I would have never thought about that.
Heads. Right. I got my. I've been so into these Fortnite figures, man. I'm telling you what. These are the way to go. These frog people. That's kind of a before and after.
Yeah, that looks sharp.
Yeah. So, yep. Got all these. All of this this Krylon fusion. I mean, I tell you what, this stuff is magic. So Krylon fusion for plastics, Krylon stopped making them 4 years ago. So I went to an Ace Hardware, and this stuff is the best for your plastic. Now they make an all-in-one that's for everything, but it is not even close to being good. So I went to Ace Hardware, and they were going to sell it all. They're going to get rid of it all. So the guy sold me 240 cases of it. Like, all right, I'll do it. So this is a little thing that I got from one of the hardware stores. I believe it was Lowe's. You guys have a Lowe's there or Home Depot? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yep. And I went ahead and customized it for my. That's what I take to these different Kit Bash clubs or to our Legion parties. I take these and I'll just put a bunch of my stuff in there. Here's some heads that I have sticking on. Any custom heads that I get, I'll stick on a pencil so that I can just use it to paint it, so I don't mess it up. These are all the figures that I just got coming in that I've not had a chance to do anything with yet. Some old droid parts that I custom painted. And then, last but not least, I have these are the droid factories. So this is the droid factories from 1977. So I spray painted these. So here's kind of a before and after. This one is obviously weathered up. This one is not quite done weathered. But I found this Fortnite school bus. They had all these chairs on it. And so I bought all the chairs and just made them, and they fit right in the middle of this thing. So that works. And I think that is about it. All the rest are just basic figures, and so that's where the real mess is.
Awesome. Well, I think we have a couple more things in the chat here, and then
Sure.
we'll get everything closed out. Aaron, what is left?
Okay.
I know some more questions came in there.
Yeah, let's shoot.
Mython wants to know, did you plan on making pegboard backdrops that fit perfectly for IKEA products like the Billy bookcases or Detolf's glass cases? I ask because that seems to be the standard collector's choice.
So I thought about that, and there's really no way that I could. I don't have any plans on doing that, only because the Detolf stuff is, I know, been a little. It's tougher to get. They've gone up in price. They've been a little more expensive, and I thought about that while making these. But Detolf, a lot of the guys that I know have used them for like 1/6 scale, and like the sideshow or the Hot Toys figures, and I don't have any plans to change the size of the Advantage for that, unfortunately. So I just kind of went with the size of the 6 by 18 inches because it's the same size as the old Kenner Star Wars 12 figure stand, and it's the size of a keyboard. It's just just one that I kind of went with that would be kind of a universal size if someone wants to put something that doesn't take up too much space. So that's a long answer to no. I'll not be doing that, unfortunately, for the Detolf.
Gotcha. Big Monger wants to know. Now, you did say that you can create like a room, but his question is, are they stackable? Like, can you stack one on top of another?
So the way I've got these here, no, you cannot stack them as in like a like can you stack one on top of the other? You cannot. So the only thing you can do is that if you build them, if you have them on a shelf, they can obviously stick together. They can go in front of one another, on the side of one another, but I do not have anything that's stackable for them. I thought about that as well, but in the concept itself, making something that's stackable, I would lose the light for the figures on the bottom, right? So if they stack on top of the other, then the other figures are going to be a little bit harder to see. So that was a concept that I played with, but decided to go against. Plus, it's just an extra piece. Now, given the design that they are, you can certainly, I mean, that's something that could be made with the design that I currently have that could possibly do that. I thought about maybe something that we could do to stagger them, but with the backdrops being the way they are, I've not come up with that yet. Like I said, it's a brand new product, so there's going to be several things in that obviously these are things that don't exist anywhere else right now in the action figure community, that you can stack figures from 40 years ago to yesterday on the same format, but it's also not without its quirks, right? Not without its flaws. And so there's a lot of things that that certainly can be changed with this, but right now this is what we got. So where we're at.
Greg wants to know, and just take licensing out the picture.
Okay.
Name 3 backdrops that you would love to make for yourself.
I would say they would probably have to be all. I would say Star Wars and Planet of the Apes. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes TV show fan, and I love Star Wars. So I think I would take something from Tatooine. Maybe take something from like a Planet of the Apes I don't know, like one of like the council room, or like the landscape of the Forbidden Zone with some, broken down buildings in the backdrop or something. So I don't know. It's something. It would be something related to either Star Wars or Planet of the Apes or both. That's a great question, though.
And then Ken's Toys wants to know: have you tried any Rust-Oleum rattle can spray paints for plastic?
Yes, I have. Rust-Oleum is good, but nothing adheres like Krylon Fusion for plastic. This stuff, I've tried probably 10 different types. And the Rust-Oleum, what I've used it on ships that I've sprayed the Krylon first as a primer or a base and put that on top of it. Works perfectly. And it will adhere to most plastics without an issue. But I'm not sure why Krylon decided to go with just kind of a universal all-in-one fusion paint, but the one they had out for years for the plastics, I'm glad I bought out Ace Hardware, because this stuff is phenomenal, and it just adheres incredibly to plastic like nothing else I've ever seen before.
And then our moderator, you met him over at Joe Fest. Axion or Action Figs says, thank you for the tour, Chris. It was great meeting you at Joe Fest. You
too, man. Absolutely. A lot of the guys at Joe Fest, they were awesome. I was so blown away by all the positive talks and the creativity and just everything that was talked about, and just the love that people have for that toy line. It's a great community.
And then this isn't for you specifically. My brother wants to know what do I have a new display? It's not really new. I just made more of a wrestling setup over here and took the belts. I still have them. They're over there. But,
on the messy side.
No, that's this side over here.
Is that geared towards you?
Yes, that was towards me.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Because you're the wrestling guy, right?
I mean, we're both into the wrestlings. But
okay.
I like to display mine. He doesn't have room for his.
I don't have room for anything.
I mean, I don't either, but
No room for anything.
Well,
I can finish this side over here. Then I got tons of room.
Well, you can see on the main picture of the Advantage on the front of the box. There's a wrestling figure on there, which they're compatible with. I don't know that figure's name. I'm sure you will, but he's from a specific line.
Yeah, I think you said it was one of the most of the basic lines will fit with your setup.
Yeah, there's a wrestling guy that's in the very back of the Advantage, and I don't know the guy's name, but I'm sure, like I said, you would know him. But
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
There's a lot of. But that's one thing I love about this community too, is that just there's so many people that are just so into different types of action figures, like G.I. Joe, Star Wars, wrestling, Ninja Turtles, Reaction, Marvel, DC, Playmates, you name it.
I just noticed that you had Inspector Gadget in that.
Yes, isn't that awesome? The old original Inspector Gadget. So the vintage ones fit there too.
That is awesome.
Cool. Well, so we have your link in the description. Greg just told me all the links I keep putting in the chat are not working because I'm not putting the HTTP in it. But the link is in the description if anybody would like to go check out your site. Chris, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at SciFiDiorama Guy.
Awesome.
So Instagram is probably the best way to reach me. You can see a lot of my products that are there, a lot of my customs that are there. You can also find the products at SciFiDioramaGuy.com. And if you've got anything that you're working on or anything that you see on my page that you have questions about, I'm always happy to oblige and answer if there's anything that you guys need like if you want to ask where this paint was used or what legs are on this figure or whatever, that's how I learned. So feel free to ask away.
And then just a quick rundown, pricing on your Advantage sets.
Okay. So each box set is $60, 60, and you can get a tan, black, white, or gray base set, and each of those come with 2 double-sided backdrops. So there's 4 images. They're all reversible. You get 2 colored boards and 300 pegs. So each set has 2 double-sided backdrops, 2 boards that are 6 by 18 inches, total of 3 feet, and then 300 pegs. And if you want the Kenner Classic is $40. That's on there as well. That's just the original, the Star Wars tribute to the 12 action figure stand that's molded in the Kenner gray color, the Hasbro gray color, and the custom ones, like you mentioned, the Alien, the Hazard Stripe, the different colored backdrops or whatever else you'd want. Those are on the website as well. You can buy the boards by themselves. Those are $20 a piece. The boards, the plain boards, are black and gray. You can buy each of those colors. You can buy the custom ones, which are $30. Those are the custom painted ones. And then each of my additional backdrops you can buy extra backdrops that are double-sided for $15 a piece. And I have bags of pegs for $10. For $10, you get 100 pegs. And each of the peg colors are listed for the action figure types. So if you know you want vintage G.I. Joe pegs, then you'll look for the color. Or you want vintage Star Wars pegs. You want modern G.I. Joe pegs or Fortnite pegs. You could look on the website. It'll show you, hey, the green pegs are going to do this figure, or the gray pegs are for this, or the yellow is for that figure.
Awesome. Well, we got to do a little housekeeping real quick. Aaron, what would you like to promote?
Oh man, actually, I want to promote 2 things. First off, head over to SciFiDioramaGuy.com. Get those super duper sweet backgrounds. But then swing back over here to HelloDopeToys.com. Get those Cosmic Legions 20% off. That ends in exactly 13 days. So get that 20% off deal. Get you some really cool background pieces. And let's see some shots that you guys come up with. And yeah, other than that, we got the Columbus Toy and Game Show this weekend.
Yes.
So if any of you are going to be in Columbus at the State Fairgrounds, come check us out. We'll be set up and doing the things. The missus will be there, ringing people out like she did last time. She enjoyed it, so she wants to do it again.
I enjoyed that too.
I did too. Less than I had to do.
You guys are from
like
Ohio.
so much easier.
Yes, we're from Ohio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't there there's a huge toy show out there, right? Isn't there like a huge, like a flea market toy show? Once a year.
There's a few shows out here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Xenia and I don't know.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Xenia's the big one, yeah.
And then the Western Toy Show.
Yeah, Maryland.
Maryland Toy Show, or the Marysville Toy Show.
Yeah.
PowerCon. We got a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
blessed.
need to make it out there.
You should. You should.
To PowerCon next year.
Yeah, next year come to PowerCon for sure. That is like a Joe Fest sized event, maybe bigger. So
that's what I was going to. Yeah, because there was one that was canceled for this year, right?
Yes, that was PowerCon. Yeah,
I heard PowerCon is incredible because a lot of those people there's a lot of like their own like companies that made their own products show up at PowerCon. Right?
Yes, a lot of last year was the rise of the independent toy creators. So Valaverse, Four Horsemen, Spiro, NECA, if you count them.
A lot of talented people.
Ramen was there.
And Savage Crucible was there.
Savage Crucible, yeah. So
very nice.
Not having the big names there like Hasbro or Mattel really opened up the event for these indie guys to stick it to them, which they did very well.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it was incredible.
Oh yeah, I said for what 4 days and
Yeah.
lots of garage beers, man.
Yeah. Lots of parking garage beers. Aaron, is that all you got?
Shameless plug. Mr. Wonderful and I, along with some other estranged guests throughout the year, join us on the 1-2 Kickout podcast. We just posted up our post SummerSlam show. We are getting ready for AEW All In. We'll do a prediction show there, and also Bash at Berlin. So come check those out, and support your boy.
Cool. Well, I have quite a few things. One, I would like to also emphasize you should go to SciFiDioramaGuy.com right now, buy yourself a sweet diorama, and then go to HelloDopeToys.com and buy some Delta 17. You won't find these at Big Bad Toy Store, friends, or some Joy Toys. Some Joy Toy would go so well with some of those sets. So, you can make a whole day of it. Outside of that, we do have the Columbus Toy and Game Show on Sunday. As Aaron said, we will be there. We will be tired. We're going to set up, tear down, same day, come here, do a show. It's going to be a wild day for us. And speaking of shows for next week, I kind of hinted at it at the beginning, but we will be joined by Mython the Python. So Mython, a fellow member of the 501st Legion, actually made his own custom Helidope mug, or his wife did. And we were inspired after his interview with Legend Series about his charitable work. We said, well, hey, we're going to rip off your mug, Mython the Python. That image, we're stealing it. And what are we going to do? We're going to slap it on our site and sell them. We're going to sell them to all of you, the Mython the Python exclusive mug. And you might be thinking, Ted, that's shady. And you know what? You might be a little bit right. But here's the thing. We're donating all of the proceeds from the mugs to the 501st Legion for their charitable donations. And we will have more on that.
Wow.
So keep an eye on our Instagram this week. But next week, get ready. Mython the Python exclusive Helidope mug with all the proceeds going to the 501st Legion. Incredibly excited about that. And yeah, I don't know, a lot of new stuff came in, guys. So go to the site, buy some toys, do the gosh darn thing. Chris, again, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. And I hope we got some new eyes on what you're doing, because it is absolutely incredible. So we very much appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. You were awesome.
Thank you. And everybody, we will see you all next week. Love you all. Goodbye.